Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about Virgo and the coronavirus, aka COVID-19. And yes, this does apply and pertain to the Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. And I'm going to elaborate and expound what I'm actually talking about as far as Virgo and the coronavirus goes. Basically, just how Virgo may be handling this if they get it, or just the general situation of the coronavirus and all, how they handle that, and also possible ways that they may be affected and impacted by it. Now, the first thing talk about as far as the symptoms, if they happen to contract the coronavirus, the symptoms I would say be emphasized. Well, there could be diarrhea, or I would say body aches that could be near at the spleen area, or right, or at the spleen area I should say, or even the abdomen, because body aches can be symptoms connected with the coronavirus, and of course the spleen, abdomen are associated with the zodiac sign Virgo. And another thing too is that, of course, Virgo is notorious for worrying. They can be very worrisome. The propensity to worry can at times bring about ulcers. So that's something else that they may have to consider. And also issues where if they're experiencing some kind of body aches connected with this, that it may be exasperated by the incessant worrying, perhaps of it, maybe making something worse possible because of that. So anyway, well, another thing what I want to get to is that, okay, Neptune of course is transiting Pisces at this time, and the seventh house is what's emphasized for Virgo, very emphasized and highlighted for Virgo at this time. Now, the thing is, Virgo might experience somebody, maybe an important relationship, could be an important friendship, maybe somebody that's a significant friend contracts it, or significant other, a marriage partner, even a grandmother in some cases. Uh, it could be, in some cases, it might be an open adversary may get it, and Virgo probably wouldn't be disappointed if that would happen. But anyway, or what it could do is it might create open enemies if Virgo happens to give it to somebody. So that's and of course likely inadvertently, of course. But the thing about it is, another thing too is that it could also impact legal situations, because the seventh house, of course, is associated with legalities and legal matters. So if something, I don't know if lawsuits can exist in matters pertaining to the coronavirus, but Virgo might be embroiled in one if that is possible. If it is it could be a situation where they're suing, or they might be getting sued in some cases in matters connected with that, if that is possible. Of course, people could sue, I guess, for virtually anything, so I would think that could be a possibility, and there's a greater propensity for that, of course, because we're talking about the seventh house and being highlighted and emphasized. Now, another thing, and of course Neptune is about diseases, and Pisces can be about diseases that can't be eradicated and cured. So anyway, now as far as the next thing goes, well, Pluto is in Capricorn, so the fifth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Pluto, of course, could be associated with viruses, and the thing about this is it's possible Virgo might experience a child that might get this at this time, or it could be somebody, it could be a lover, somebody they're in a romantic situation with, somebody they may be enamored with or in love with. It might also impact their personal popularity more so than most people. Keep in mind that Virgo is often very shy and reticent. They're not ones that are really overly extroverted and gregarious. Keep in mind the zodiac sign Leo often falls on the 12th house cusp of restrictions and limitations for Virgo in a solar or natal chart. There's a reason for that. But Leo energy is very gregarious and extrovert, and Virgo can be the exact opposite. So I could understand for Virgo why this would actually impact their personal popularity a lot more so than most people. Now, also too, and also their fun, their amusement and enjoyment. Virgo really sometimes has a lot of difficulty doing things that are enjoyable because they're so dominated by the work aspect or element of their life. So I can understand why this would be something that could really affect them as well in terms of their fun in their life at this time. And so anyway, and also to investments as well. The fifth house could be connected with matters of speculation and investments. And the thing about this is, this could be something for Virgo, where I mean, when investments, of course, if you're like investing in some stock or some bond, of course they can plummet if you have the business associated with them that is starting to plummet as well, and they're doing less business as a result, perhaps, of the coronavirus COVID-19 situation. So they might be more impacted by this, more so than usual. If Virgo was involved in sports, then I mean the fifth house can be associated with sports, so they would be very strongly impacted and affected by this more so than a lot of other people on average. So anyway, next thing up. Well, as far as Virgo goes, I mean, again, they are a sign that's notorious for worrying. They often can worry incessantly, and this is something where if they're in an area where this is really prevalent, they have to guard against becoming, excessive worrying. And the thing about Virgo too is they could be like what I would call, in a very negative manifestation, a compulsive complainer, people that would complain incessantly. And this is something where, I mean, if they're like, in a store and people aren't wearing their mask, or they're not taking, they don't look like they're taking their precautions, or they're coughing on somebody nearby. And this is something where Virgo, even though they're not overly outspoken, they could really be ones that will complain about those issues a lot, and go like to say to a store manager maybe, and say, this person's doing such and such, and it could be jeopardizing the health of other people, which is not really bad though, because they're just trying to be helpful, because Virgo, of course, is very health conscious. If Virgo happens to be tied up, or as far as when I say tied up, being confined in this situation, and they say they contract it, or even due to a coronavirus situation where where they're in confinement more, and they're not able to go outside due to some kind of stipulation or regulation. Uh, their Virgos are often, statistically oriented. They might be going online a lot and looking at statistics connected with the coronavirus, extrapolating data connected with it, projecting coronavirus numbers for the future. I joke when I say Virgo might also be spraying Lysol on their hands, but of course I'm just being flippant as far as that goes. But Virgo, expect them to take a lot of precautions as far as health related matters go during this time. And if they are confined, another thing that Virgo may do is stay busy with games that require a lot of analysis, like Sudoku, or chess, or Mastermind Pandemic. Let's say no pun intended. Uh, but likely they'll spend really, and also, as far as their monetarily, Virgo can arguably be the most frugal of the zodiac signs, so they're likely to spend as least as possible if they do contract COVID-19. This is in Virgo can really be everything but downright parsimonious. Actually, they will spend very little. They are the ones that can often stretch the dollar more so perhaps than any other zodiac sign. Now, if family or friends get this contracted, they may offer a prodigious amount of service to those people. Virgo is very service oriented, and they'll be very helpful, not in an officious or unwanted manner though, but just genuine assistance and service to those people. They'll often be involved in cleaning and getting things organized for others, to keep themselves occupied. And um, and they are in Virgo might also, if they're not able to go out as much as they used to, due to the coronavirus, I expect them to be doing whatever they can to stay healthy, even if they're indoors a lot, such as You're staying with a workout regime or routine, working out vigorously, doing exercises, things of that nature. And if Virgo is involved in this, as far as treating others with this, if they're in the medical field and they're involved in assisting others dealing with the coronavirus, they will often, I mean, they'll perform their tests very they'll often be very dutiful, very punctual, and reliable, and very precise in how they do, as how they handle this, how they're doing their job. Virgo can be very work oriented, and they will take it, of course, very seriously, being very health conscious. So, anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, people, Edwin Learnard saying, stay well.